it's silent in dismay, it won't break this feeling down. If I conquer this my way, I'd devour, I'd surround. If it hurts you just a little, then it heals you when it's done. Disappointment is the anchor, resolution is the sun. If it's silent in dismay, it won't break this feeling down. If I conquered this my way, I'd devour, I'd surround. If it hurts you just a little, then it heals you when it's done. Disappointment is the anchor, resolution is the sun.
I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me, hold your hand while the pain was over, keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me. you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home was just you and me. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh, I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. I am Jackal Hayes. So, unfortunately for tonight's stream, my webcam decided to, oh, hey, you know what? Let's not work. So, unfortunately, my character does not have a functioning movement whatsoever. So, while I'm doing that, let me turn down my headset here. There we go. That music, which is a little too loud in my ears. So, again, thank you for joining the stream. As I indicated before, my name is Jackal Hayes. The Vtuber Cyberpunk Daemonfey, I guess you want to call me. I had to try to look up the type of character my Vtuber model was designed for, and when I typed in the key points, it looked like Daemonfey was the thing that popped up. So, my Vtuber is a Cyberpunk Daemonfey. So, as the title goes for tonight, like I said, I am going to be doing tutorial art. And now this tutorial art kind of goes for everybody. So if you want to find a way to improve your artwork, hey, fantastic. Thanks for joining in. You'll see some of the stuff that I do when I draw, do some of my artwork. If not, and you're just a beginner wanting to learn how to draw, hey, you know what? That's also fine too. you get to see some of the key points that I end up doing whenever I go ahead and do this. And no, unfortunately, that crowd control thing. Unfortunately, I have to get rid of. How do I get rid of that? I don't think I have that option too. So just ignore the crowd control thing if you ever get that little widget thing that pops up. I was experimenting with something the other night, but anyways, like I was getting back to, originally when I was doing my art channel here, I wanted to actually go about doing this, making a live stream, sort of doing a tutorial art course for those like that want to learn how to draw. I get so many people that say, "Oh man, your artwork is so good. I could only make a stick figure look like a stick figure." And I get that so many times, and I know that there are a few people that they would love to draw, but they just when they say, "Oh man, I mean, I wish I had the drive in that," and I mean, it's in some sense it's relatively because I've been doing this for such a long time. My drawing sense has been, oh yeah, drawing a character, no problem. I can draw a character in under 3 hours, a picture and everything. Well, to others, you can't do that. Especially to a lot of those advanced artists. And that's what I try letting everybody know. I'm not an advanced artist. I'm nowhere near like an advanced artist. The basic I can do is I'm probably a novice, probably getting to the point where I can do advanced work. But my sort of artwork is based off of animation. So, again, that's why a lot of my artwork are a lot of fan-based characters, fan-based character designs, OC character designs. I like to stick with animation because I believe that's an opening field. So when we go to do this, well, first off, like I mentioned, this was an original concept I had for my channel. So I kind of strayed away from it because I didn't think it was going to get as much of a sort of like a request, like, oh hey, you really want to learn how to draw? Well, okay, sure. Well, let's go ahead and do that. So I got to talking to somebody, and that person is a Twitch user on here as well. His name is Mr. Game Snacks, and thanks to him, I sort of got the impression of, oh, you know what? Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to, do some art tutorials on here. Because let's face it, I rarely get to see a lot of people that just automatically just sit down and say, hey, you guys want to learn how to draw? Let's go ahead and draw. I rarely ever see that on that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you guys some of the key points of how I do some of my artwork. And for that, I hope that in return, that when I go to do some of my key points, you guys can be able to integrate that with some of your art styles, or well, not art styles, but more of your how you design your artworks and that, because there are people that go automatically straight to the picture, and without doing some of the wire drawings, the layer drawings and all that, they just go straight to the picture. And that's how I was when I started drawing. I went straight to the picture. I didn't even think about doing the wires and all that other stuff. And the problem that I had was a lot of my characters were disproportionate. And that's what kind of threw me off until I really sat down and started to, hey, you know what? Maybe taking the longer route might actually help out in the end. So that's what I did. I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to, go ahead and do that. I'm going to sit down, take the longer route, learn about the different colored layers that I can apply and all that. So that's what I started doing recently. And like I said, thanks to Mr. Game and Snacks, I started doing that. Um, this is going to be the first tutorial video that I'm going to do live on here. I haven't done any other ones. Mostly it's just me just sitting there drawing, just listening to music and, all that other stuff. But this one I'm going to be a little bit more interactive. I will throw out some key points out there for people. And again, if you guys have any questions or anything regarding to like, oh, hey, how do you draw hands or how do you draw faces, bodies, that sort of thing, please, like I said, feel free, leave a comment in the side right there, and I will be able to answer all your questions. I will even show you on the screen here how I even do that. On top of that, there's certain certain levels of artwork that I can do. So it's like, oh, hey, if you guys want to learn from like the beginning, hey, I can show you the beginning steps of how to do it. If there's a more advanced part of art style you want to see, hey, I can go more advanced as well. It'll take a little bit longer, a little bit more explanation, a little bit more detail, but I can do that. And I think the last thing before I end up getting started into this tutorial video, I do want to also give one more shout out. This also goes out to one of the patrons that I got on my Patreon channel. Thank you, Reindeer Viking. Reindeer Viking has actually been a patron of mine since I opened up my Patreon. So he's been following me ever since from the very beginning, and I want to thank him for all the times that he's helped me out when I had issues trying to get my rent in that, and whenever I sent out emergency commissions, he always asks, he always helps me out to get out of my commission rut and all that. So again, thank you, Reindeer Viking, for everything that you've actually done. You helped me a lot. And now that I'm actually, fully getting back into the groove of things again, I'm hoping that I can keep fulfilling more requests, commissions, all that. So again, thank you. So let's go ahead and let me get into the whole tutorial setup. So if you guys want to learn how to set up the tutorial, how to start this tutorial, and if you want to learn about trying to draw with me at the same time, so that way you guys can go ahead and see about the steps to do this, we can go ahead and do that. If you guys want to, if you don't have access to, like, say, a computer or something, or you want to have try drawing with a pencil and paper, that also works fantastic too. It goes for both. You can actually learn to draw with pencil and paper, or you can learn to draw digital, like with a tablet and that. So, what we are going to do is, let's see, what would be a good thing to start off? Okay, I guess what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna sort of set like a full body pose, from the head to the hands to the feet, the whole works. That way, if people want to learn how to do full body images and all that, at least you get to see. And then off to the side, I'll try doing like examples of like hands, fingertips, feet, because I know with a lot of people, the issues that they always have is like, I can never get that hand right, or I can never get that feet right. Well, I can be able to do all that, and on top of that, for those two that want to learn, like, oh, hey, you want to learn to, like, well, I know that in a lot of cases, people like, oh, hey, you want to learn how to draw a furry? Well, guess what? The same basic steps as what I do here will help with designing your furry characters, or your animated characters, or your live action characters. All that applies. So, again, we'll go ahead and get you all set up. So, start off first, obviously, with the blank sheet of paper. And what I always like to do when I design this is I like to have um, two different colors. A color pencil of red and blue. So, and red is for my line detail. So that way, when I go to design my when I go to design the character, I use a line detail art to design them, and um, the blue is the to put like the clothes, the hair, and all that. And a lot of people they kind of use it in reverse. They use the blue for the character outline, and they use red for detail. So, what each is own's choice. That's their preference. For me, it's just easier to do it that way. And sometimes there's also a third color option, which is green. So you can actually go with a green color pencil to get more detail. And same thing on the digital art, you can use green to put like special effect details and all that. So that way you know what's there. And then, and obviously layer your images so that way you know, oh, hey, this is for the rough art, this is the line art, this is the special effects or detail art, so like lighting and that. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start getting our rough art design out. And again, if my thing happens to be running sluggish, let me know, because I have been fighting with this computer all day. And I am almost to the point of doing a window chuck PC tower here very soon. So, let me go ahead. I'm going to try to get myself all set up here so that way you guys can be able to see here. So, we're going to go ahead. We're going to start drawing the outline of the character that we want to do. So in this case, I'm going to work on a female character because, designing female characters, I've been doing that a lot for fan arts and everything else. Male characters, I don't do so much, but I can still draw them. And that's not an issue. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to start setting up a character. I always use the same basic pose for a female character because they it's kind of facing forward. You get to actually see the character. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna draw a rough outline of what we want for our character to look like. So I'm gonna go with a thicker pencil so that way we can see. And the reason I'm this far away and I'm drawing this like as I am because I'm trying to get my measurements down. So shapes is also another key factor too. Don't be afraid of like, oh, I don't want to draw a circle or all that. Circles and everything, that's what helps you. So first off, draw your circle. Doesn't have to be, perfect. It doesn't have to be anything. I mean, it could be the most horrendous circle you've ever drawn in your entire life, but so long as it's a circle, you'll get the idea for the concept. And then once you draw your circle, then try to morph your face. Now again, does not have to be perfect. This is just the rough art sketch. So the rough art sketch is going to be, your guiding tool. And then you always want to also draw your lines for indicating, hey, where your character's eyes are, where their mouth is. So that will be what your indicator. And on this, because you're drawing on pencil paper, it will more likely look about that size on the sheet of paper right there. So we're probably just going to do, for the way how this character setup is, I think we'll stop at like the waist high, so that way for people it'd be a little bit easier to see the detail. So once you do that, again, you know, you want to also know like what's your pose that you want to go ahead and do. Well, you know, same thing. You don't want to like overthink this too much. So it's like, okay, so we're going to be doing a basic pose. So you're going to have your neck. You want to have your shoulders. Now the circles are your joint shoulders. You also want to come down to like I always do the same type of pose for a lot of my characters. So this is sort of my guiding to line. So right there will be your stomach area, your chest area, again, shoulders, arm, and then you're at this part, which is going to be where your character's mid and lower split. So here is the waist. And the other joints were your hip joints. Okay, so right there is your basic joints right there. And then you can also work your neck piece too right there. So again, the neck is, you know, way too high, so that's going to get lowered down. So once you get your character set up like that, now for digital art users, you know, obviously you got your tablet and all that. So, you know, this is sort of, you know, really easy. All you have to do is pretty much turn down your opacity and then you got your layer all set up right there. For paper and pencil users, when they end up doing this, when you end up drawing using the red or the blue, red I start off with, I lightly draw your wired line, which is what I did right there. And then after that, you want to go with the blue. Now the blue, same thing. You don't want to put, you know, push it down too hard because, you know, you'll leave the you'll have a hard time trying to color over it later on. And again, you know, color pencils don't really have the option to do that. But in that case, what I normally do is when I do the color pencil design art, because I'm a digital user, or if you're out and about and you don't have a chance to put it on your computer and you got this idea, well, design your character out just like with the steps that I'm using. And then when you go home, then transfer your character information detail onto your computer, because once it gets on your computer, you'll be able to see all of those highlights, the red, the blue, the green that you end up working on the picture, see all the little critique information that you've seen right there. And then after you do all that, then you can, you know, really put more detail in it with the black lines and all that too. So in this case, since we're, you know, doing it as in a computerized format, this is pretty much how our rough setup is going to be. So, you know, for those who are joining in or drawing, if you get to this step right here, I'm just going to wait a little bit for everybody to sort of like get caught up in that. Like I said, you know, this is sort of not going to rush it or, you know, blow you out of the steps like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm just going to keep going like you know, like how if I was drawing a picture. No, I want people to actually take the time to, okay, how did he get to, you know, get to that step? So I'm going to turn the opacity up just a little bit for everyone to see. And like I stated before, red line, this is your more of leaning towards like, how do I want to pose the character sort of lines. So with this, you can be able to like, oh, hey, if I don't want my character to, to be in that sort of pose, I can go ahead and change that, or, I don't like this. Let me just erase this line. It's all rough lines. You don't have to worry about it. Um, well, excuse me. Gotta get a drink here. My energy. So, um, yeah, like I mentioned, with this right here, this is just only a rough sketch. So this is rarely the not as important line art that you need to worry about as much, but it is your guiding tool line mark. I guess that's just how I process when I do my stuff. So it's about time that everybody should be all caught up if they're designing your character in that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, for digital art users, their easiest tool is obviously opacity. So because we already designed a layer for the rough art, our opacity tool will be able to turn that down, and then you can move on to your next color set, which is blue. Oh, excuse me. So because now we're on blue, we're going to be doing a lot more details. So we're going to be getting right in there, putting in like eyes, mouth, nose. Again, this is still a line art design, so it doesn't have to look, like the final piece. It's still, your final piece will be whenever you get to your line art. That will be where you can actually sit right there and go, okay, maybe I need to tweak a certain line a certain way to make it look a little bit like that. So in this case, since we're going to do this, we're going to go ahead and tone down the thickness of the line here. Because red, you want to go a little bit thick so that when you get to your layers. The blue, you want to get a little bit more of a finer pen, or, finer point on this. So, with that here, we're going to go ahead and let's see, where are we going to start? We're going to go ahead and start. I think I got a character in mind that we can go ahead and do. That way it'll be able to help with the line art. So we're going to go ahead. We're just going to start drawing the head outline and all that. So right there will be your bottom of your chin. Use your lines to guide you. And then whenever you get right here to the side, just remember too that with the character, they have their eyes, their eyebrows, and whenever you see a character with their head in this sort of position, you also got to remember that there is also going to be a head crease designed for the eyebrows and that. So with this, I'm going to come up like this for the character and then go like this. Again, doesn't have to be 100%, perfect or anything. So and we're going to go ahead, we're going to tone down that red a little bit so that way we get a more better view. There we go. That way the blue stands out. So what I'm going to do is, because that kind of makes it look like they got a little bit of a longer side right there, I'm going to go ahead and touch that up. Right, and same thing with over here. You got to go ahead and continue on. Use your lines as a guide. Once you get right about here, right before where your two lines right here meet, this is where you also want to see about inserting your ear format too. So, ear form, place your ear. I'm sorry. Again, this is not the final art, so it doesn't have to be. It does not have to be perfect. And from right here on the a little bit on the back side of the ear, this is where you want your head to keep continuing on. All right. So right there, we have our character's head shape right there. And with this right here, you can end up, fixing it up a little bit, making it the way you want it. So, like in my case here, I want to work this edge out a little bit. Probably bring the bottom jaw up a little bit. And then erase the excess. And again, draw your line. For your indication. Okay. As I stated before, when I designed this, the neck was just a little too high. So whenever that happens, that's where I want to see about for measurements. So typically when you have a character with a neck like this, prime example for digital users, all you have to do is whatever your current picture you're working on, just bring it down. And then you could be able to work with, the measurements and go from there to improve your artwork in that. For pencil users, unfortunately, there's a lot of erasing that's involved. So, but it isn't that bad as what most people think because you could be able to work as I go. So if you were a pencil user, you would pretty much go from where you see your mistake and improve on it. So about that's just as far as where the next should have went. That's why drawing lightly comes in handy when you go to work with color pencils and all that. So I am just going to use this as it is so that way I can work on the image as we go on. And again, want to apologize. I don't do a lot of public speaking. I'm not a very active person socially when it goes to teaching people certain things. This is more of a self improvement for myself. At the same time, kind of introducing what I love to do to people. So, again, apologize. Not really a good public speaking person. I again apologize. So, once you get to about this stage here, for the characters that you work with, they have their shoulders. And I like working with a little bit thinner necks, so I'm going to bring that neck in a little bit more. And then when you get your side neck down, you can actually add your shoulder line right here, because that goes to show you where the position of your shoulder blade and on the opposite side for most characters. So a lot of people, when they do this right here, they tend to fade their lines out right about here, because you don't normally see a solid line, for characters right there that often. But um, I always do flat art, so my lines are always, solid and all that. So again, right here is where your joints are, so we're going to try to lead over there to the joints. So once we get to there, we got now our shoulders there. Next, we're going to be not worrying about so much the arms at this moment. We're going to try to get the mid base right here. So, because everything needs to kind of shift up a little bit, what I'm going to do is very lightly kind of crease out what I want to do for the pose. So, like in this case, my character, I want them to be a little bit more curvy. So, this rough outline has it where they're just standing kind of straight. So, I'm going to give them more of a curvy look. So, I normally tend to start right here on this side when I do my curves in that. So, like right here would be where the waist is going to be at. Again, positioning of the shoulders and that is a little too high up, so I kind of need to go up a little bit there. About right here would be good. Okay, so that right there will be what I'm working with for my waist. And then I can actually curve it out a little bit more right here, because what we're going to be getting ready to do right there. And if you need guidelines to help you too, you can always start from where the chin is and then work your lines down to give you an idea of where the center line is for your character. Same thing with your neck piece here. Most of the time you have and then there you go. There's your shoulder piece, your piece around your neck area right there. Like like I stated before, not very good at speaking. I don't know certain terms um, for most of these spots, um, so I will try to, as best as I can, describe the area that I'm working at. So we got the neck area all taken care of. Next is going to be the chest area, which is going to be right about here, because that's the distance where you kind of want to keep your character's chest area for the starting point. Hence the guidelines right there. So we are going to sort of measure here. I'm going to say I'm going to start on the top right there for that spot, and then I'm going to set it for that spot there. Now I'm going to leave it as that right there, so that way we can get back to that there. We're going to keep on going with the lower half right there. So you can kind of see the big leap difference that I did right there. Because with the character so far the head and the body match up for the size wise. That's what we want to keep. We want to keep that size, kind of set. So, since we came down here, the waist gets a little bit narrow right here, so I am going to widen the waist out a little bit. And then right here, this is where it's going to back out towards the rear right there. So with that, I'm going to draw this line right here because that's going to indicate the lower half there. And then the line is going to go down to right about there. So with that, I am going to draw the waist area. Okay, and then right there will be the waist. Once you have the waist there, then you can work on your legs. And then doing the legs, for me, it's actually a little bit easier. I like working with legs, because it's pretty consistent for the size, for how thick you want the hips to be, how small you want them to be, how basic you want it. Most all my characters, hip styles and all that, they're kind of actually like this right here. So I like kind of designing my characters to be kind of within that range measurement. I don't design a lot of different sizes that much. I should. But I kind of like being in a set norm. So once I go for the leg there, I'm going to go from here. So that's where the leg is going to have that extra line right there that shows where it kind of connects to. And then what I want to do is I want to bring this in. And this leg is going to kind of be set off to the side a little bit. So, well, too much right there. So we're going to go like this. And then right here, we aren't getting to the leg yet because normally the leg will start right about here. And then comes down to the knees. So once you get to right about there, don't forget that the rear also comes in too. So you want to also... Nope. Gotta give it a moment. Computer kind of froze a little bit there. Okay. So again, you can bring your rear line on the outside of where your one leg comes up, which is right here. Once you do that, again, check your pose, see how you're at. And then what I'm going to do is with this one, because this side it's a little bit further from the camera, I'm going to just slightly put it up a little bit for the where the leg connect is. So this here, I'm going to bring it down, but I'm going to also keep it a little bit away from the camera. Right about there is where I want it. Because this knee is going to be down here. This one is going to be right here. As you can see, you're going to see a little bit more of the knee here than you do here. The camera position. So, again, this is where I want my leg to go up. And about right. Let's see, because of this right here, I'm going to have to change it a bit. Nope. I want to put my line right there. Be about right here is what I want to do. So I'm going to bring this out to about there. Now this line has to move outwards. Bring out my eraser. Erase that blue line. And erase this blue line. So again, move the orb. That's where my knee is now. Again, we're not going to go past the knee area, but whenever you design a character, you can get to that spot there. So, all right. So now, if I go like this and I back out of the red lining here, that is what we currently have for the character. I went and I ended up giving it a little bit more curves. It's somewhat standing straight, but you could definitely tell with the curved lines where exactly what the character's pose is doing. They're a little bit leaning, kind of with their chest out a little bit. If I want to bring this right here over, then what I just need to do is bring this in a little bit more, move the outer torso out, and then everything that I did here would have to shift outwards. So let me go ahead and do that, because that way you can see the big difference in the posing there. Again, I can do this. Bring up my lines, be my guide. And this one, there. That looks a little bit better right there for showing how their posing would be right there. Okay, as I stated before, once I got the lines done, I'm going to show you for the chest area right here. So the chest area, we got our lines pretty much all set up. So you want to try to keep as close as you want for the center as we got. So you got to also keep in mind too that you can also shape out your lines. Whenever I do this, I kind of tend to look at my measurements right there for my lines. So unfortunately, because like I said, this is Twitch channel, this is a tutorial line art. Designing the character as it is right now is fine. But of course, creating the clotheslines and all that, I will have to cover her up. But this is just wire lining. So wire lining is just a main example. There's no detail, there's no nothing. So this is what we got here. So once we design that, I'm going to go ahead and work on her arms there. I tend to do this when I design character's arm because I want to see where my shoulder connections and all that's going to be at. Again, the original design, the arm is just way too down there. So right there. That's how I do the basics for arms right there. Again, I don't do details in them because I always do the detail lining last. So this right here is what we have. So right there will be your mannequin right there in a sense. That's what you're basically seeing a lot of mannequins. And again, once you start getting your detail in, then that's when you can start coming in here and start doing this. Start adding little features to improve like your curved lines and that. Come in, erase that. Same thing with over here. The back of your shoulder. A little bit more backing. Bring this down. A little bit more curves. And this part right here is going to be behind the hand, so you don't really get to see it But again, I always put the lines in because you don't know how the picture turns out after. And a lot of times too, whenever you see somebody kind of design characters like that, you kind of see them design like the Wire too. So you'll like see a bunch of people draw like the shading right here, like, oh, this is where the waist separates and all that. I don't bother with that. You can actually do that. That actually helps you out a lot. But for me, I kind of was the guy that went from, oh, hey, I'm going to um design this character right off the bat. And when I designed characters right off the bat, it was always like, oh, hey, I was a big Dragon Ball Z fan. So, whenever somebody wanted me to design a Dragon Ball Z character, all I have to do is look at a character and blah, blah, blah. There you go. There you go. So, but since we got this character down, this is the Wire art right there. This is the guideline now. This is what we really wanted the character to be, so that way we can be able to work around this wire mesh. So now we can start doing the layer. And like I mentioned, you can actually, this is what you want to use for your primary line. I'm going to turn this down a bit, and we're going to get the green because I like to put a third layer detail in. And that third layer detail is like, hey, okay, so what does this character have? Well, okay, we're going to be working right here. So I want to make it L. Okay, so that's what we got right there. Again, you can turn down the look right there, so that way when you're adding your details, you can, sort of do that. Because it's an elf, the ear also comes out on the other side too. So, what? Wrong layer. This layer. All right. And then sometimes with this detail line, you could also improve your previous picture too. So, like, if you want to make them have like a little bit more of a sharper jaw line, you can. So with this, you can kind of tone down the blue, but also still use both layers in this for this advantage to improve your artwork. So now I'm going to draw my nose. And then you got the shading right there that you can do. I tend to put like a little light source right here on the top ridge of the nose, so that way whenever the light hits it, it kind of gleams. So, and on top of that, since we put the nose in, I can add this little line right there because that's where your nose follows up. I'm going to go ahead and move the nose over. About there. Same thing with the ridge. There. Okay, so once we do that, now this ridge also helps you when you get to the eyes right there. So with the eyes, you pretty much can go right off the top of that ridge. Oops. Gotta give it a second here. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give her some sharp eyes. Again, the eyes aren't going to be 100% until I go through the detailing. And then that way you can actually, adjust like where you want your lines to be at. So this moment, I'm going to try to sharpen her eyes down as best as I can. So in this case right here, I'll probably end up changing this eye out in order to make it work right, but this is what I got set for her. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tilt this one because I think this eye is just a little too high up. There we go. And the little line features to show above the scowling. And then this line right here is your eyebrow line. So we're going to go ahead and add that. Eyebrows are pretty basic. I always keep them about the same. Now once you do that, come down here. We'll give enough little bit of a gap right there. So I want to put my mouth right about here. And you can actually gap it right there because that's where your lips are going to be at, where they end. So just like actual true anime, you gotta have that little gap lip right there. And then come back. And if I want to detail her out, give a little bit more curves to her cheek. Sharpen her jawline a bit. Probably move this up a bit more. There we go. Now she's starting to take a little shape right there. And then I could also put eyes too, so that's what we got so far. as you can see with that little line guiding right there, you get sharper and sharper with your lines, so you can actually get a little bit more and more detailed out. That's why most of the time when you watch certain artists, they got like so many layers. That's because this is what they do. They tend to add layers to improve what they're doing onwards, to the next level there. So once we do that, and as you can see with the neck right here, I got just the setup right here to actually do this with her neck. So we might end up turning this green into an actual more detailed layer. So green, we're going to actually do, the clothing, the setup lines, and all that other stuff too. So we got that. Bring this down here too. And then now, because we got her ears and all that done, we can actually try to see about working on like putting hair. But I don't want to go straight into the hair on the same green layer, because whenever you design hair, hair tends to get and interferes a lot with what the line that you're working on. So what I do is still on this main layer, I'm going to go ahead and finish rounding the head here, because the head, when we left it off on the blue, was in actually a good spot. So the shape of the head is an actual good setup for the character. So right about here, I want to say that's going to be where the crown of the head in front is going to be. So with this, right here will be where your ear. I'm going to go ahead and bring this ear in a little bit, because I think that's just interfering a little bit with the setup there. Oh, and another thing as well, whenever you get your eyes set up here, the thing that you want to also do, and I didn't do this here, and I'm going to fix this right now, is the ears have to be at the same level. Turn the ear a little bit, as where your eyes are going to be at, because that was just a little too high. Bring it out right about there. That is where you want to keep your ears at for your character for their lineup. Because if you look in the mirror and you see like your ears kind of around the same range as where your character's eyes are, that's where you want to keep it for your character designs too. So once you get that, I'm going to go right here, fix this ear as well. Bring this down a little bit. About right there. That's where I want to keep it. So, now, again, with this here, bring this line in about right to there. Okay, so once you get your character's head shape down and all that, her head's just a little too egg-shaped, but it'll be fine. This is just a layer. I'm going to go ahead and bring this in, though. That way, when we go to do the hair, we can work with scaling and that. Okay, so once we get to there, this is where your front crown is. This is pretty much where you see the V spike in most anime characters like Vegeta and that. That's their Widow's Peak spot. Right there is where you want to have your starting point. But we're not going to do any, sharp lines like that. No, what we're going to do is we're just going to do just a simple curved line, just like this. Because that's going to be like if you shave your head, this is what you're pretty much are going to look like with really short hair. So that's what the outline is going to be. Sometimes this right here can go in a little bit sharper. So that's what we're mainly looking at. This is going to be the setup to help guide what our hair is going to be at. And the hair, we're going to make it on a different layer. And I want the hair to be in, say, like, there we go. That'll be a good color. That'll stand over it. So, with this character, she's an elf. She's got really narrow eyes, so she's going to be a little bit strict. Let's see. What would be a good hairstyle to give her? How about go with something like this? And then whenever you start off with the hair, I like to start in the back. So right about there is where you want to keep your hair away from the top of the head. And then just do a rough outline of what you want your hair to look like. And you draw a light because you don't know if you're going to have to do a change or that. And when you get right about here, again, right there's your center. Nope. See, I already screwed up right there. And I want to have it where you can be able to see your ears, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. There we go. So that would be the line setup right there that I did for her. And now that we did that, we can go ahead and head back to our green. And now that I got that line set up, now it's time to design an outfit for her. So, trying to think of a good outfit that we can go with. Ooh, I think I got one. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and grab that example right there. It'll be 1 sec. Because her personality kind of gives me the whole Slayer type look. And we got one Slayer in mind we can do. I'll just take it a moment because everything's kind of freezing on my end. Oh. Again, wishing I just throw this computer out the window right about right now. There we go. Now I just gotta get back into my thing here if it lets me. Tick tock, tick tock. There we go. Alright. I am going to design her outfit based off of Trish from Devil May Cry. So, I'm going to go ahead and move Trish down to the bottom here. Just kind of interfering with my lines there. Come on, Trish. Move down. Okay, it's gonna take it a second there. There's just so much information this thing is trying to register right now, it's not even funny. Come on, there we go. Alright. So again, use the green to detail out your character's image. So we're going to go back to the green tab. We're on the green line. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to line out Trish's outfit on her. Make sure you follow your curves too. So when you do design her, tone down Trish. Yes, like I said, follow your curved lines. And that will help you follow through with your designs. She has a go like this because there we go. a little line right here to indicate the crease in the clothes. Oop. Okay, so the line comes right down to about here. So that's where character's belly buttons is. We'll go like this here as well. And bring it up to about here. Same thing with this. And when you go ahead and do that, remember, add your edging line there. When you get to about here, then try to see about adding some creases in the clothing material. So this is what I do. Whenever you get to hips, that's where most of your creases are going to form, is right about this area here. Same thing with this side. Not as much as the other side because that's where the whole body shifts over here. But you still have creases over here as well. And then with this, she's got your line detail. Shading spots. Alright. So, and she doesn't have anything. She does have a choker around her neck, so go ahead and just add this right about here. And those lines right there, because that's the inner part of the elbow. Over here, work on this side. And this one right here, arm is going to get raised up a little bit right here. So that's for there. Elbow there. And with that, she's got this guard here. Same thing with this over here. Guard on the opposite side, so we're going to be working on the inner part. And then the guard stops right about there. So there we go. That's what her outline is going to be. So now you can turn her off. And when you look at it, you can turn the blue off to disappear. And that's the line art we got out so far. So with that right there, if you actually want to put more detail in, like, say, the purple for the line for the hair, make sure you're on the hair layer so that way you can go ahead and do this. That way, when you go and do this here, you know what you're working with. It'll cover up most of the lining right there. And then you can darken it for the inner part of the hair. I'm going to outline it so that way at least it'll stand out. So yeah, that is what we have so far there. So now, add that blue back in, add Trish back in, and we're going to go ahead and work on her waist area. So back to the green. Brighten that green a little bit more so that way we're back on our feathers. And we're going to go ahead and look here. Alright, so Trish has a belt. So we're going to go right here where you see this crease in the hip. And down here, the crease in the hip. This belt goes all the way around. And it's going to stick out a little bit because it's a very thick belt. Don't do anything past this because this is where your hand is. Come right about here. Continue on. Keep it about the same distance. Stops right about there because that's where the guard is. And then we look. She's got a big buckle over here, so we're going to go ahead and draw that buckle. Draw the holes because of the threads. Again, doesn't have to be really detailed. This is just to guide you onto your lines. Same thing with this. Add that loop that she's got on her one side there. And it looks like she's got a lock buckle. Oh, she's got a dual buckle set. Okay, dual buckle set. So this has got to get fixed. She's got a dual buckle set that actually goes around on both sides. So 1, 2. This is left open, but she's got buckle holes that goes on both sides. erase. That's where you got to get really detailed into the add your buckle set there, latch there, back over here. Right about there was the other set buckle. I'm going to say that's the pants belt loop. Same thing, buckle set there. This one, we're just going to leave it as it is because we got another detail we got to do, and that is the hands. So, belly button there, waist. Give her a little bit of line waist right there because that's where the high crease she's got right there. All right. So, ooh, sitting in one position for too long is not good. You have to get up, move around. I never do that because I'm horrible that way. All right. Oh, can't forget the shoulder lines. All right. Before we get to the hand, let's go ahead. We're going to work on the rest of that. Excuse me. Got the pant legs right there. Okay. Line, line, line for creases. And line crease, line crease. And tight leather pants. Because we all know that power comes from the leather pants. Okay, and of course, trying to fix this up a little bit. All right, so now that we got that, now we're going to go ahead and move on to the last and final step, and that is the dreadful hands. That is what most people have issues with, is hands. I used to have that issue until I had to sit down and literally drill myself to know about hand positions. So, and it paid off. I finally figured it out. Fix that middle finger there. That's your lines right there. Come over here. Line right there. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that. Okay, so then when you look at your measurements right there, as you can tell, my hand is a little bit off. So I got the setup. I'm going to come in and large it up a little bit. There we go. That hand now matches up with the rest of that there. And we're going to do the same thing with the other hand here. And that should be what we're working with there. I'm going to take the blue off. And then there we go. So right there will be the actual official outline of what your character will eventually look like once you do all these steps. With this right here, as you can tell, looking from my laptop, because it's a little different when you're looking on paper. If you actually look at from more of the screen there, you could actually tell where you kind of need to improve your lines at. Like in my case here, I looked over at the screen there and I saw that my leg needed to be a little bit more wider. Ooh, on the wrong line art there. Oh well, that'll just be a basic line art. So, I accidentally colored in with the hairline, so it'll be fine. We'll go ahead and leave it as that and make it as a one layer thing. Because technically, this is what our one whole thing we're going to be basing it off of on this layer. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge these two layers there, so that way they're one. Alright, so there we go. I fixed that leg issue. And, might fix that other leg right there because it looks a little too small right there. Probably bring that on out. There we go. Okay, so once you get that right there, and you get all that detail done, there are two methods that a lot of people like to do. Method one is the pencil art method. A lot of artists still use, still use. A lot of artists use that method because they have control of the amount of pressure they put on the pencil and all that. I unfortunately, when I do my art, I don't have great pressure control. In this case, I have, I can do rough art detailing sketch that I can use with pencil art. But whenever it comes to lines and I want it to look very precise or in a very unique way, I don't use that. I actually use the figure control, which is the U button in Clip Studio right here. So what I normally do is I just click it, select a dark line, and then I make a new layer. So what I do is same thing, opacity down the image, and when I go to create the layer, I figure out how thick I want my line to be. So I normally keep it about a 5 or a 7, depending on the style art. And in this case, I'm going to try a 5. So I'm going to try right here on the shoulder. And I pretty much just click on an area and morph the line. And that's how I get my lines, to get consistent lines, get the figure just right. And that's how I normally do it. And a lot of times, you get people that look at that, look at what you do, and they're right there going, "Oh, he's just taking the easy way to do some of his artwork." And in a lot of cases, it's like, well, if I do it like that, if I take it easy, then I don't make I don't do. Oh yeah, how do I pronounce it? How do I say that? It, it, for the way how my images come out, for as good as they are, that's how I design them, is using the figure line art. And I don't see it. Art is art, no matter in which way you draw it, work it, design it. It doesn't matter how you design your artwork or how you do your artwork, so long as it comes out great at the end and people appreciate it. you know that's what matters. um and that's all I do. I love designing artwork that I can have people look at, give their 2 cents about it, or like it and save it, and to at least show that, hey, what you did, people actually like, or get some influenced enough to go, oh, hey, this guy does great work. I wonder if he, can be able to commission me something or do that. There's so many ways of going about doing that that it doesn't matter what you use for your artwork and that. There's people that freaking make artwork out of spray paint. I can't use spray paint. People use markers and that, and yeah, I mean, it's fantastic work for what people can do with art and that. So, again, with me being a beginner and all that, I try my best. So, like I said, in this case, I'm using the figure art because I can design artworks, my artwork, a lot faster, get stuff done. I like to speed through my stuff. So in this right here, you'll actually get to see, how I set my figure lines up or how I detail it out. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give her some areas on her. They're going to be a little bit more of a thicker dark line area, but you'll see the trick that I'll use to crisp my lines out. So let me go ahead. I'm going to take one last drink of this right here, and I'll get started on the lines. Monster energy. Okay. So we already got her shoulder right there, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Oh, and I noticed what I didn't do right there. I come over here and I want to change my brush. So what my brush is gonna do is when I click here, come up to here, it's not gonna be a rounded line on the ends of them. They're gonna have a nice sharp point right there, so that way it kind of cuts off. So what I'm gonna do is come over here. And with this, because it's the inner part, I'm going to go with a more smaller line. Outer area lines, you want to use a thick line. Inner area lines, you want to use a smaller line. Detailed lines, you want to use the next one down. So outer area is a 5, inner area is a 4, detailed lines are 3. So that way it kind of helps you keep your line thickness in range. So now I'll go back to a 5 because I'm going back to the outside. Okay. Down here. Oh, and go now to 4. And now 3. Back to 4. And 5. Okay, so now this one I'm gonna have to take a look. I'm gonna start from here. And that figure line also really helps out whenever you get to this current point where you really want to work on like closed folds and creases in that. That really helps you out a lot. Look. I want to go back to 4. Back to 3 for detail. All right, then back to 5. Back to 4. And then a 3. Gonna get the rest of her right here. Right, 4 for the detail lines. Back to 5 for a second for the neck. Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and do that right there. 4. And 3. And seeing that right there, for the way how I had that neck, I noticed that it was a little too wide right there. So I brought the detail line in so that way it kind of prevents you to have your character with a wide neck right there. So I fixed that mistake right there. And go ahead and work on the inner part here. I'm gonna go with a 4 here. Back to a 5.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight.
Get that 3.
Dripping lights paint the skies.
4. Back to 5. And
Make it last forever. Stop in time. Yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping light.
okay, now we're going to go ahead and design this belt here. And once we're done with this belt, we should be done with the line art of this character. So, once you do all your layers and you do all this stuff here, you'll actually get to see your outcome. For me, I always love whenever I get to this part of my artwork to see the layers. That's always been my favorite part because I know that I'm just about done with it. And it's not because, like, oh, I don't want to do my artworks or that, or, I just can't wait to get done with them. No, no. It's actually different. I actually would sit there and stare at my artwork for a while, just taking in what I just made, what I have done. I love that feeling afterwards. Because for seeing what you created, that's always been my biggest thing that I love working with art is admiring what you've done. Not to make it sound like oh, like my artwork's the best in every. No, 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 no one's artwork is the best in anyone. First off, you may not be the best artist in the world to draw, or you could be another Picasso. Like I said, doesn't matter. Your art is your art in your own style that you can do, and if people appreciate your art style, that's what matters. If they appreciate your art style because you draw in this particular style, well, guess what? Your style works. And don't think it doesn't, because it does. I had some friends that actually kind of explained that to me. I think they actually kind of drilled that into my head saying, hey, listen, just because, you don't get followers or because you don't, you don't think that your artwork's good, don't think that way. Your artwork is your artwork, and you alone can design your own artwork in your own particular style. And if you think that it's good to get out there, then it's good to get out there. You may come across a few people that may criticize your artwork, but well, guess what? That's just an opinion. That's their opinion. That's not an opinion that solidifies, like, oh, well, maybe they are right. Maybe my artwork isn't that good. No, no. Don't even think about that. Because, first off, it's if they don't like it, well, then guess what? They don't like it. They can just, you know. But for me, I know that there is somebody out there that likes my artwork. Prime example is I got a guy that's been with me for a year, and believe it or not, a year and 3 months now. This person has been following me close to a year, about a year, I think. Like I said, Reindeer Viking, he's been following me ever since I got my page started. And if there's that one person that your artwork can really, really, hit someone that way for them to stick with you for that long, then you're doing something good. And whenever he goes and he asks for a certain type of commission work that he wants done, and I mean, to tell you the truth, I love doing commission for Reindeer Viking. I mean, the detail that he puts in his thing is awesome, including some of the others that I also, whenever I go to do stream and I do live requests, one of them is that's in the stream, probably watching the video currently right now, will be Sonic. So, Sonic is one of the other people that's also been following me since I also posted up my Twitch here too. So, and I do a lot of his requests over on Picardo. So, and Picardo, I haven't been on Picardo in a while, but I'm gonna have to start getting back onto that there. But like I said, there are some people that I like working some commissions for, because the amount of detail they ask me to put into it. I think another person that I also do detail work for as well for request videos is I gotta try to come up with his username, because he has sort of two different usernames when he goes onto my streams. So I'm probably gonna go with the one that I know him most by, which is Jimbo. Jimbo, it's also another person that also asked for some art style requests too. And again, the amount of detail that some of them asked me to do, I mean, I just love working some of these details, because I think that's probably one of the things that I like about doing some of these artworks is just when somebody says that, oh yeah, I got a artwork that I want done, and it's gonna be a lot of detail, and then I'll sit right there, pretty much in my mindset, going, bring it on. But then also, granted, I don't like detail change during the middle of the final part process, because that happens to me a lot. But again, like I said, I'm just kind of really happy that I got people that really like this art style that I do. Um, Especially with all my friends and family, they absolutely love my artwork. Um, and I couldn't ask more. that's what really kind of gets me to the drive to keep doing what I want to do because, with everybody right there, with all the support I get from my families, all the support I get from my friends, including some of the people that I recently met on here, that's what really kind of gets me going. I'm hoping that if, everything turns out awesome on here, that, I won't have to be killing myself with the current job that I'm at. Because unfortunately that's what's happening, this job that I'm working at is just killing me. And I'm not just trying to be literal or funny about it. I mean, this job is kind of killing me. And I'm trying to get out of it so that way, hey, all I really want to do is, be at home doing, this sort of stuff. I like to sit there. I want to draw for people. I want to sit, enjoy having conversations with people, collab with people, the whole 9 yards. I wanna do that, you know. But it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to multitask in reality when it's kind of hard to do that. When you make it in your mindset, it sounds like it's kind of easy to do. All you have to do is this. Well, yeah, all you have to do is this. But in reality, I'm right there. I'm fighting tooth and nail to do what I'm trying to do. But I know I'll get there eventually. It's just I have to hit the right sort of people. Appeal to people that like the certain type of work that I do, and kind of go from there. That's why I'm kind of hoping when I go to do this sort of stuff that that'll kind of work out. Okay, we're just about done here. Put this last detail in. Did I get that okay? Everything looks like, oh, whoop. For the body, yes. Head, no. I'm gonna work on the head now. Uh, the head, with the amount of detail that we have, this is pretty much how I kind of do my process. No fives. Whatever you do not use five, because what happens is fives, that's just a little too thick for that. So if you stick with a 4 for the facial outline, it'll actually kind of look better off. 4 for the facial and 3 for the details on the face. I actually kind of like this song. This is a good working song right here for me. So, I know that I have been rambling on for God knows how long, and I just want to see by one simple thing. Sonic, are you still in the group there? Maybe. Hmm. Are you just with the screen off, Sonic? Or not screen off, music or audio off? Because I know he likes to do that sometimes. That's probably the case. But I do know that Sonic watches it all the way straight through. That's one thing I do know. Okay. Getting my details and the ears done. Going on to next. Nope. I'm going to do the face. Now, I know I got that line right there. I am going to try to leave that alone as much as I can. But I am going to use a 1. The 1 is going to be pretty much my faded line right there. 1 and then 2 for that. Back to 4. You know what? Hair. I'm going to do hair different. Hair, I am going to do it a 3. Thinner line. Up. I know this hair kind of resembled a lot of like Android 18's hair, but I thought that was probably a good hairstyle to put on somebody that was like this. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Get the hair to pop out a little bit more. There we go. Let's go ahead and start giving this hair a little bit more curves. Back to 4. Back to 3. Now, I know that we made it so far into this video here, so I am going to do this one last time to let people know that have joined in. Again, apologize for my avatar that is not moving. The camera that I had is an old Lighttech camera, and unfortunately, believe it or not, I fried the camera right before the broadcast was getting ready to start. So, I have to pick myself up a new camera. So, hopefully the next time I go ahead and do this, my character will be bobbing back and forth all dazily again, I guess. I don't know the best way to put it. But yeah, again, apologize that my character looks so stiff. And then this right here, we go ahead and add the crown. And we're going to go ahead right through the hair, add the eyebrows, because I tend to do blend through with my eyebrows. Okay. That, zoom in, put a little line right there, zoom out. Okay. And da 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 da. Number, oh, oh no, number 3. I want a number. Okay, so now the eyes. Now this is where this figure stuff comes really in a lot of comes in handy right here, because now I can actually shape the design of the eyes now to make them narrower, more sharper, I guess. We go with a 4 for the eyes. And this is what I normally do when I do the inner pupil of the eyes. I highlight the inner center, and then I get the round tool, and I form the pupil. There we go. And I noticed that I just didn't complete it just yet. So pick up, click. Back here, we can have it a little bit thicker lines. All right. Now one look over. Do we have everything? Do we have everything? I think we have everything. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of detail right here in the hair. And then we'll be able to move off of the colored blueprint screen here. Go ahead and take that out. We're just going to leave that right there. Okay, so now we should have the line art complete. So when I go to do this, that is what we have there. We have a fully lined character from the ground up for detail. So now the only thing that we have to do now is the coloring portion. So, coloring, it's its own layer. So, off to the side, make sure you label your layer as line art. That way you don't get all the coloring and shading and all that layer confused. Gonna go on to the next part. We're gonna hit color for the name. And you want to move this layer below line art layer. I want you to do that. You want to think of the coloring scheme for the character. Well, let me do one last thing here. I am getting thirsty again. I don't have a bottle of water with me, so unfortunately, I got the only type of sustenance here. Soft drink. Not really a thing, not really a healthy thing to go with, but, you know, a drink's a drink at the moment. So, once you get your character's line art all done, once you get your layering color ready, next you have to determine what you want your character's skin color, what you want your character's outfit color, and everything to look like. Well, we already got the outfit color pretty much all set up, which is pretty much all black because we're doing Trish. So, Trish's color scheme is going to be black, but we're not doing ultra black because if you do decide to do ultra black and you use black lines, you don't see no details at all. So, we are going to go with just a smidge of black and charcoal gray. And in the coloring portion, go ahead and drop your colors. Same thing with the pants, because the pants are the same type of colors. Come down here. Now note, I use the paint set, so the paint set does not allow the color drop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in the same color scheme, draw this right here to sort of close off my legs. Nope. Don't want it to go off there. Okay, once you do that, then you should be able to use the paint bucket and sort of drop the colors where you want it. Also make sure too that if you're using paint colors, because what happens is if you drop paint and it's not full filling up specs, you're going to have these little white lines that are going to be popping up right there, and you have to go through and refill the colors. So make sure you take your tolerance, put it up. I typically put my tolerance right around 15. Drop it again there, so that way it fills up some of those spots. Same thing here. Drop your color. Again, 15, it'll still have some white spots, but that's really easy to fix right there. So once you do that, click on your pad and just color over some of the lines that you think you missed. And I will also show you guys a trick that I picked up for also improving your line arts to make your line art kind of pop out a little bit too. Because I didn't think about that lines actually kind of matter when I designed a character until somebody showed a step of making their lines pop. And I didn't think that that was a thing until I tried it and it actually kind of worked out. So, once you do that, and once in a while you may have to go back to your line art right there if you want to add some details. So, like right here, I want to add that line right there. That's what I wanted to do for that. So, we got that, select that, and then obviously her choker's the same color too, so go ahead and do that. Once in a while, you will have that right there, a bleed effect. All you have to do is kind of take your eraser, make sure you're under color when you do this, because if not, the bleed, you'll just, ruin all your work that you did. Erase that right there, get it to where the line's a little bit better off right there. Fix that there. All right. Zoom in, point. There. And then if you want to get into like really good detail for your character's lines and that, just click on your smallest portion and then you can get right into the nooks and crannies of your character's lines right there. So, do that. Color in the eyes. Fill in the eyes. Whoop. Don't want that to happen. Okay, and get in there. Fill in any details that you see for white that will interfere with what you want. Uh-oh. That sounds like Dutch wants in. But he's gonna have to wait. And if nobody knows who I'm talking about for Dutch, that is my cat. And unfortunately, he cannot go an hour without me because then he has anxiety. Which is kind of funny because he actually does have anxiety. He can't go anywhere in this house without with me being here. So again, I don't know how he functions when I leave for work. So once you get your lines colored in and detailed out, right there, now comes the next part. Ooh, that's right. Gonna darken the belt a little bit, not too much. Just enough. Oh. I don't want the buckle to get faded. Okay. Remember to fill in any spots that you happen to see that your paint bucket did not get. I know, Dutch. Give me a moment. I can hear him. He is not happy. All right. And same thing. Put in the arm braces. Go to this. Delete that line there. Okay. Delete that line there. Back to colors. So what I'm only going to be doing for tonight is I'm just only going to get the flat coloring design in. And then that will probably do it for us. But let me go ahead and get her skin color and her hair color there. And then that will probably be it. And believe it or not, I will probably end up using the character that we got here and add her to, well, obviously the other OC characters that I ended up creating along the way. So what I'm gonna do is, we're gonna give her skin tone, and the question is, what type of skin tone do we want to give her? Do we want to give her lighter skin, darker skin? She kind of screams out lighter skin, so. I just realized I don't have thumb right there, but I think that's actually good as it is right there. We don't have to really worry about that thumb being there. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the silver to the belt. Again, if you see anything that the bucket did not get, go ahead and get it. Alright. Belly button wise, I am going to give her a darkened belly button there. Okay, now we got that. We're going to go ahead and whiten the eyes. Get your white line ready. And fill that spot there. But you got to be careful because the tolerance is going to be way too high for this, so it'll recognize that the pink and the white are about the same color. So you want to turn your tolerance down and go in and use the paint bucket. And then boom, you got your eyes. And you can go around the bottom right there and kind of touch up anything that if that white kind of melds into. Same thing here. There. Meld it in right there. Drop your paint bucket. There. there. And all right. Now that we got for that, now we got the last thing is hair color. And what do we want to give for hair color for her? I would probably say she looks more. Lighter. I say that'll work. Yep. That one, that one. Darker hair color. And the same thing with the eyebrows. You want to use a darker color bucket for this. I want to almost say she kind of looks like Amenity from the Owl House. Wasn't trying to go with that look. It's just that was how when we were just going with the hair design and her look and that, she just kind of screams out for that hair color, hair design and that. I'm gonna go like this and bring the line here because that's the inner part of the hair. Okay, so once you do that, her eyes. How do I want to design her? Oh, not design, but color her eyes. I want her eyes to be kind of. That will kind of work. Okay, so and get the belly button color. Come up here to the ear and just fill in this inner part of the ear. You can go with a different color, but like I said, I'm not putting no shadings in that. Okay, so this is the character we have. This is what we started from the ground up using the 2-layer system that, or the 3-layer system that I had, which was red for your base setup, blue for your detail for improving your mannequin, and your third line, which is the green, which I used, was for the detail lining. And then obviously the hair was its own separate one, so it's like a fourth line, but that one kind of sort of melded into the third line. So with that, you can kind of keep it like that. Now, when you have all that stuff right there, what you can go ahead and do is you can actually take this opportunity to do some line improvements. Like, okay, you want to make the hair kind of stand out a little bit more, you can add hair strands. And adding hair strands, it's pretty simple. Get up to your hair, put your hair in the full view, see your the way how your hair is formed and your hair is flowing. So you can actually see where I have the parted crease right there, and you can kind of get the idea of how the hair detail is. So what I do is when I want to do my hair flow is I get my black, go to a 2. So if you wanted to be some really thin lines there. And I normally work from the end of the hair and then I go up towards the root. So you can do like random spots in the hair to add the hair lines to give it that more defining look to it. So, like for example, I'm going to start from here. Oop, and I'm using the figure because the figure has the hair control that you can do. And just like that, if I come down here, you can actually kind of see what I did there. Added a hairline there, make it a little bit more compact. Come over here, add one, and kind of have it kind of bit random like. Oop. And don't try to overlay the lines because if you do that, that just kind of interferes the line unless you have wavy hair. Wavy hair is a different story. When you have a character that has wavy hair, then you can do something like where you got this line here, and you can actually add a line like that. That will be good in the sense that it'll show that the character's hair kind of waves a little bit. And the bigger the hair, the bigger the waves. But in this case, her hair is mostly straight. So I'm going to try to keep my lines as best as I can. I'm going to go ahead and stop right there for the hair because I don't want to. I don't want to put too much into over here, except for when you come over here, you can actually do this to show that the hair is coming from over here from the roots. Come down here, do the same thing. Oops, except for that. And then you can actually do the same thing for the inner part of the hair, but the inner part of the hair, you're going to have a lot more compact lines. It looks like there's some and I just realized something too. I already made this mistake. I'm not going back to kind of fix it because I'm just going to go ahead and leave it as it is. Again, make sure you know what layer you're doing your lines in, because I already kind of screwed up, and if you can see right there off to the side, I'm in my color layer. And you don't want that. You don't want to have your lines in your color layer, because if you ever need to do something like this, change the color, you color right into your lines, and that kind of defeats the purpose of having two layers. So, again, keep an eye on your layers, see where you have your layers at, and then you can proceed. Like I mentioned, I'm not a top artist. I don't claim to be a top artist, but that is what we got for the design. So we got her all taken care of. We got her looking a little bit like Trish right there. Got her own skin tone, skin color, everything. And then now I can go ahead and show you the trick with the line that someone kind of introduced me to. So what you want to do is select your line art that your character has. Duplicate that line art so that way you have two layers. And you can actually tell when both layers are up. And with the layer that you duplicated, go up to your effects filter, go to blur, and click blur about 2 to 3 times. And then that way, if you zoom in, what that does is that thickens your lines. So if you're looking right now at the close-up screen, the lines look really nice and thick. But once I do this, you can definitely see a very big difference from just having a plain and simple line to having a crisp line that kind of makes the character's image pops. So, with that, like I mentioned, the character is going to just be in basic flat color design. So, that's what I'm typically I'm going to do for the tutorial imaging here tonight. I'll make sure. Yeah, okay, I did get her center part. I thought I saw something white there. So, right there is, we'll say that's a new elf girl to add into the collection. Already got 4 other ones, but a 5th one wouldn't hurt. So, anyways, like I said, that right there, we're already going on to the 3-hour mark in the stream. So, again, yeah, I say that pretty much does it. This would actually, if you've watched the stream all the way from the beginning to the end now, you could actually see the process of going between rough sketching to detail sketching to the line art. What tool to use if you want to do into the style that I do, which is the character that I have right there. You can use the figure line art, or if you're a technical person who likes to do with a lot of stuff using the pen design, that's good too. Like I said, everybody has their own unique style of doing their artwork. So there's no right or wrong answer in what you do, so long as you enjoy doing the artwork and everything comes out great at the end. So, again, this idea was kind of put into action after I talked to Mr. Game and Snacks. So, shout out to him, and shout out to Reindeer Viking for the support that he's been giving me for about close to a year now, or to a year. I really do appreciate all the stuff that all the support that he's done, for the people who have stopped at my Patreon that have done. I really appreciate that. And also, uh, here's another shout out to there's another VTuber that is going to be starting off here soon. He has his account ready. He has his model ready and everything. I know he has his model ready because I designed his VTuber model for him. I rigged it, designed it himself, just like the one that you see down here at the bottom. Again, VTuber model does not work at this moment. Webcam is busted. I fried it before this stream started, so that's why he's kind of like that. However, the person that is going to be getting ready to start soon, his name is Grixia Boy. Grixie. He is a goblin VTuber. So if you ever want to sign up for him, you can be able to check him out in my my following streamers listing below for suggestions. Like I said, there's a few people that I follow. A lot of them do amazing work. I like watch some of their arts. There are others that I follow because I do music. There's others that I follow that do voice acting. And on top of that, there's other people that I also follow too that simply are just I like how they do for the VTubing broadcasting and that. So be sure to follow them. And if you're also interested in having any work done, be sure to hit me up on my Patreon, or you can follow me on my Twitter. All the information is in my bio below. And yeah, I say that pretty much does everything for this stream. Again, thanks for staying tuned. Sonic, you have been watching my stream all the way through. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I think you are probably the only one I've noticed a lot that's kind of watched my streams from beginning to end. So I want to thank you there. And yeah, I'll try to do some more tutorial arts here later down the road. I think the next one I'll probably do is hands, because like I said, there's a lot of people that have a high frequency on, I can't get the hands right or I can't get the feet right. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I could do something like that. But let's see, I'm trying to figure out what else I'm leaving out. I'm trying to squeeze all my shout outs and my broadcasting and all that. If you guys haven't already checked out, like I said, you guys can check out my Twitch, my Patreon. I also do have a Redbubble account. Redbubble is pretty much for all the merchandising that you can do with your artwork. If you have an artwork, you can go there, post it up, and they will turn it into shirts, clothings, hats, dog bowls, you name it, they'll have it. Backpacks. I have an account right there. I can't remember if I changed it from my my main YouTuber name and that, but if not, be sure to check out my account. I'll mostly have it on some of my other ones, either my Twitter or my Patreon. I'll sometimes post it out for my merch. You can go there, or to my Tree Springs account, which is listed below as well. But if you go to any one of those places, you check out my artwork, you can actually see that I have a lot of stuff that's reasonable pricing for Christmas gifts. So right now it's December. A lot of people are getting ready for Christmas. And if you don't know what you want to get people for Christmas, you can be sure to check those out. I've been trying to start back up and trying to get some of my my postings and all that. So, but yeah, if you're know somebody that's interested in having like some DNA dragon designs or some anime shirt designs, fan art designs, I think the one that's been selling quite well on my Redbubble account is a sticker, which you can get it as a shirt too, but as stickers have been mostly selling a lot on my thing of Claptrap riding Butt Stallion, and I've been getting a lot and a lot of people that have been going for that sticker, um, and it's probably one of my best sellers on there. It's either that one or my Undertale Underverse shirt. So yeah, if you guys are interested in checking some of those, you can be able to do that. Again, be sure to follow my Twitch, my Twitter, all my other sources that I have right there. And yeah, that I'd say that would probably end this stream. So again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Inside lane, missing exits. I'm glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I'll keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire. No more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, and I don't need to go around anymore. It's time to break away. Forget your